let's talk about our our fly trade. Hope everybody got that. Those of you that did, high five. Um, so last week I did the nightly video and want to include something as a hedge because we were starting to get. Let's zoom in here a little bit. We were starting to get a little dicey, and this was uh, last Thursday, 29th. Where are we? Right here. Yeah, it's right here. So we had been having these flushes, and things did just looked, not strong. And we had not stellar earnings reports, and at that point we were waiting on Google, we were waiting on Amazon, see what's going to happen. That could kind of make or break the market. So I said, let's put a fly, and again, it was here. I said, let's put a fly down at 68.50. Now let me switch this over to SPX, and you guys know what happened. It worked great, but just want to walk you through the kind of the thought process. So 68.50 was the target for today. Now those that took it, and I posted this yesterday in the room, I said, we come down here, and I'll show you the trade. There was no real trade management on the trade, but I did. Let me show you a screenshot here. So this was this morning on the trade. So the whole thought process was to get something. So we were up here when we set this trade up last week, $4.25. I posted as one contract. I know a lot of people took a lot more than that. So $425 of risk on the upside was the max, and up here 7,000 of max profit. Now, as a side note, we do a lot of butterflies, and it's pretty rare that you get the dead pin, the total profit there, and that's fine. There's a great risk reward here. If this was a pinning play, and initially I thought it could be a pinning play, but the magnitude of the moves we were having were so great, I was like, I don't know. So at 10 o'clock this morning, I closed it. We bought it $4. It went to 33. It went over that, plus 33. So great trade. High five to everybody that got it. Now, and high five to people that got multiple contracts. I know that I was talking to, I think it was James yesterday, and we were talking about, he did 10 contracts and said, what do we do with this now? And I said, maybe take half off and let 5 run, and that would have been a really good thing to do. And it's good trade management, right? The thing about it, and let me show you the current right now, what this thing currently looks like, because it looks different. So we've had a pretty massive rally today, and this is what it looks like now. So if you did not take it, you got to manage this stuff, right? If you did not take it, it's overshooting the upper end of the fly. It's still up. I mean, if you put $400 in a trade and it's worth 800, high five. That's pretty cool. But it was worth a whole lot more here. Now, again, if anyone is still holding it and it does pull back, you're going to get even more here. And this is at the end of the day, closing bell, ding, ding, ding. It's worth about $7,000. But I'm out, so I just didn't want to risk it. But the only trade management on this, there was none on the upside, because if we just ripped higher, and I was totally wrong about needing a hedge to begin with, then our max loss up here is $425 on one contract. That's fine. We're willing to do that because the risk reward is so good, and we're again thinking we kind of probably need to have a hedge in this market. And again, this was last week, and this after we've had Tesla earnings, and after we had Netflix and Apple and all the other earnings, right, that didn't look so smashing. All right, so the trade management was, there's our break even on the butterfly at expiration, but there is our break even on the trade, and that's the difference in the T+1 line, because when we started the trade, the T+1 line, which is this pink line, lavender line, was kind of like that. And each and every day, this thing goes up a little bit. It goes up in the middle and it goes down on the outsides, right? So up and up every day, up and up and up and up, as long as you're inside the body of the butterfly, right? So yesterday we get down here and we actually got to 67.80, which is our break even on the, at the butterfly. So, and I posted, I said, this is kind of make or break time if you want to, and at that point it was at a profit. I think it was about a $600 or $800 profit. And I said, if you want to hold on, hold it. If not, go ahead and, take the win here. This thing might keep going lower and all that kind of stuff, right? Because what also happens with this T+1 line is that you see that break even, that's counting that. That initially was probably out here, and it moves in closer day by day by day by day by day, and now that's where it is now. So at the end of the day today, this will move over and it'll lay on top of that, and this T+1 line will go right on the top of that green line and all the way up here, and this will go to a full profit and this will go to a full loss. So that's the way that T+1 line works. Anyway, I know you guys know that, but I'm just trying to kind of talk through the trade management if anyone was wondering what to do and how to do it and all that kind of stuff. So I kept it. The only reason is because it still had a pretty decent profit and had enough wiggle room, and I had enough support showing on charts that I said it's probably worth holding. And then we got a nice bounce, and the rest is history. So high five on that, everybody that got it. And it ended up being, let's see, excuse me, it ended up being $33. I think it was 33 even, actually. I did a little fishing for it. Yeah, $2,800, almost $2,900 on a $400 trade. So pretty good. High five. The other thing too, one last thing. This applies to all broken wings. When you go on any trade like this, because it's a broken wing, you do have a little margin over here. But when you go to put this trade in, when I look at this and we're here, I go, okay, our max risk is $425, right? When you go on your platform to put it on, it's going to say your max risk is here. And while that is true, $3,000, that's only if you don't do anything and you let it get over here and you don't do any trade management, right? And that's what I said from day one when I started this thing. It's like, if it gets here to here, that's your zone to get out, make a change, do something, whatever you need to do. And again, it got right up against the line there. So anyway, high five to everybody that got that. That was a good trade, pretty easy. So we will look for another one.